Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how I built a RAG-powered investor relations agent using n8n, Pinecone, and OpenAI. Now let me talk about what RAG is for a second. So RAG in short stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation, and it's one of the most important AI patterns right now. Why? Just because it fixes the biggest problem with language models right now, which is hallucinations. So instead of asking the model to guess, RAG first retrieves the most relevant data from a trusted source. And in this case, I'm using SEC filings and earnings reports. Only then does the model generate the answer grounded in that context. So for instance, if I come into my workflow and I type into my chat box in here, what was Tesla's revenues in Q2 2025, what it does is that the agent goes into Pinecone, it finds the exact context, which is this one, and then it feeds that context into GPT, which is here, and then from there, it gives me a concise, accurate answer with citations from the filings themselves. And this is the power of RAG, okay? It combines search with generation so that you get accuracy, transparency, and speed. So this is the response we have here. Tesla's total revenue in Q2 was 22.496 billion, okay? It shows you exactly where it got this information from, which is like the source PDF. If you'd want access to the templates, then you can join my school community for free to get access to the templates. So in this session, I'll break down exactly how the RAG flow works. I'll talk about how you can ingest the filings into a vector database, and then how you can also index them as embeddings with metadata. And then I would also talk about how you can retrieve the top matches when a query comes in, and then generate a reliable source answer with GPT. So if you are building anything that relies on trusted data in finance, healthcare, compliance, legal, then RAG is how you make AI both useful and trustworthy. So let's get started. I have two workflows here. The first workflow is really to add information into your database, and the second part is basically where you do the queries, and that could be like what's facing your customer, the front end of it. So now let me talk about how you can add information into the database. It's quite simple actually. So in here, I'm starting with a manual trigger, but you can do something else. You can decide to use a schedule trigger, or depending on how often you update information in your database, you can actually work on that. So you can change this to reflect how your production workflow works. Okay, now I have a Google Drive folder here because just for the purposes of this tutorial, I didn't want to connect directly to like the SEC. But if this is like a production use case and you want to have real-time information, then you may consider using the APIs from SEC itself so that you're able to get like real-time information. So what I did was I was just specifically like interested in Tesla. So what I did was I went to their investor relations website and then I just downloaded their files from there. Okay. So like I mentioned, if you want to have something in real time, then you're better off getting like the information directly from the SEC website, and then you can move on from there. Okay. So what I did was I downloaded the files and then I stored them in Google Drive under a folder I call investor filings. And then what I'm doing is that I'm basically coming into Google Drive and I'm downloading those files. Okay. I just limited the scope of this tutorial to just like one file. So basically their Q2 earnings for 2025. In here, I added in an edits field node just because like I wanted to pull like the file name and the binary data separately. And then like I'm extracting the data from the PDF and putting it in a text so that I can further break them down into chunks. Okay. The document is about 30 pages long and I'm breaking them into chunks so that I can feed these chunks into my Pinecone database. Okay. You need to first set up an account with Pinecone. So if you come into Pinecone, if you've not created an account before, they're going to ask you to create an account. And then once you create an account, you'll be presented with this interface. And basically what you want to do is you want to create index. Okay. So you give the name. So in this case, I called my index Tesla Finance, and then you can decide on the configuration you're going for. In terms of when it comes to embedding, it's recommended to use like text embedding 3-large for if you're using like the OpenAI embeddings model. This is the recommended model to use. So I'm using this, especially if you're dealing with like finance data. It really depends on the data you're dealing with. If it's healthcare, maybe there's something else you can use, but I'm really using the 3-large. And then in terms of like dimensions, I went for 3072, and then the metric, I'm using the cosine metric. Okay, once you have this done, you can really select the cloud provider you want. to be fair, I'm on the free version here, so I didn't have a lot of flexibility, so I just chose AWS. So then once it's created, you have something like this, and then what you have to do is like you'll be able to generate your API keys. So you just click on API keys and then you click on create API key, and then you generate your API key. So now that you have your API key and everything created, you can come in here and then you just have to add the Pinecone node. And then in here, what you want to do is you want to connect the credential. So you can click on create a new credential and then insert your API keys here. Now let's walk through the configuration I have in here. So remember, I have a code node in here, which is basically extracting those chunks for me and also indexing them for me. So mind you, a 39-page document or a 30-page document has been broken down into chunks, and each of the chunks have been indexed. So this is the first index. If I should make this a table, you realize that I have index 0, and then I have like index 1, I have index 2. So they've all been indexed. And this is very helpful, especially if you want to know exactly where in the documents this is, like the answer is referring to, right? The index helps you a lot. So that is what that code does. And then, so if I come into my Pinecone vector, all what I'm doing in here is I'm choosing the operation node as insert documents, because mind you, like I mentioned, you first want to update the database so that you can query it later on. Now let's come back. Once you have the Pinecone node set up, you also need to have the OpenAI embeddings node also set up. Like I mentioned earlier on, I'm going with like the test embedding 3 large. There are 3 options here that you can choose from, but I'm going with a large one. And then in terms of options, I didn't add in any options here. But what's important here is also like the data loader, okay? Because you want to always pass in the metadata. So if I come in here, you can see that for my metadata, I put the file name, which I'm getting from my chunks, and I'm getting the page content. I'm also getting the index as well. Okay, all this is very important, especially when it comes to like querying your database. Now that I have this set up, if I should click on execute right now, you see that my database would get populated. So this is how it eventually looks like once you are able to like populate everything. So this is really good. Okay, if you have any use case around building a chatbot, FAQs, questions and answers, like you would want to use RAG just to ensure that the model isn't like hallucinating, and also to ensure that the model isn't just quoting things from somewhere else, but it's actually relying on the data you have provided. Okay, now that I have talked about the portion where you add the data to the database, let's move on to where you retrieve the information. So I'm assuming that if you want to retrieve the information, you have an interface. Maybe it could be like a chat box, it could be a chatbot on a website, it could be a form, it could be anything, but I'm using the chat input node here so that I can basically input a query and then get a response. And then in here, again, I have the edit field node as well to capture the chat input, and I'm passing this into the vector store. So this part is very important. So in the vector store here, in terms of the prompt, I'm using like the question as a prompt. And then I have, in terms of the any other configuration, I'm just saying include the metadata. I'm including the metadata because eventually if I want to sort of, let's say in my response, I want to say that like provide me with the index or the context or anything, like I want to be able to have that information ready. So I'm including the metadata. And then in terms of the embeddings node, I'm still keeping like the OpenAI embedding node here. You cannot have like the Pinecone node without like an embedding node. You need to have something here, okay? And in here too, you could either use AWS, like there are different brands, like there are different companies you can use. I'm just using OpenAI, and then I'm now passing it on into my little JavaScript code in here, which is basically stripping off and returning like the context and the question. So this is the output I'm getting. It's giving me the context and then it's giving me the question. So it's telling me that from that 39-page document that I broke down into chunks, like the question I asked, this is exactly where I can get the response from. Okay. And maybe I can show you how the document looks like. The document is quite sophisticated. This is the document, right? It's a very long document. So it's actually good that, like, I mean, you can't read through this document. It's too long. So it's good that the agent would actually give you like the context. Like just saying that out of this long document you have, this is exactly where I'm getting the response from, and it's giving you the context here. Okay, and then I have this agent here, which is really stripping off everything I'm getting here. This is giving me the context and everything, by sort of like stripping it off and just giving me like a very nice sound answer, more readable and easy to understand. That is really it. I can try it out again, maybe with the same question, and then you would have an idea of how this whole thing comes together. Like I mentioned earlier on, it gets you the context, it's telling you that this is where it's getting the results from, and it's also going ahead to give you exactly where you can find it in. So this is great. Okay, this is great, guys. Yeah, let me know what other use cases you see leveraging RAG, because RAG is actually here to stay. Okay, guys, that is it for today's tutorial. I also do provide tips, tricks on how to build AI agents. So if these are things you're interested in, then I'll encourage you to join my school community as well. If you don't want to learn how to build an AI agent and you want me to build one for you as well, this is a service I offer. But for now, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.